Welcome to this exclusive boardroom briefing. Today, we're bringing you a highly targeted explainer that gets straight to the point. Exactly who is winning in the luxury real estate market right now, and more importantly, how they're doing it. I'm looking directly at $3 million plus Metro Atlanta homes, and I've tracked the deals deed by deed, and I'm going to deconstruct the actual strategic playbooks matching the top agents' competitive edges to the realities of today's market. So let's dive into it. I'm going to cover Atlanta's $3 million plus market, the national execution gap, deconstructing the winning plays, the private wealth shift, and wrap it all up with your strategic playbook. So let's get into section one, Atlanta's 3 million plus luxury market, the 2026 boom. We're looking at a specific window here, January 2026 through the end of July 2026 across metro Atlanta counties. So just look at this number, $581.6 million in total volume. And what's really staggering is that this massive volume is generated just across 138 transactions. That gives us a median price of $3.8 million with a blistering fast median of 26 days on the market. The sheer scale and speed here is undeniable. So, who is actually closing these deals? Well, based on mentions in the data that I looked up, Ansley Real Estate just edges out the pack with 66 mentions, closely followed by Atlanta Fine Homes Sotheby's at 57, and of course, Keller Williams is in the building with 26. So, look, this isn't just about market share. This is a real boots on the ground read, proving that a highly concentrated group of brokers and operators are capturing the lion's share of this wealth. They just keep showing up. And so, in section two, we're going to be looking at the execution gap of luxury agents. Okay. So, what's really interesting about this is the contrast between what luxury agents should be doing versus what they're actually doing. So 73% of appointments for luxury agents are still set inbound. That means that agents that are pulling this massive volume are still largely just relying on the phone to ring rather than running systemized outbound plays. They are literally leaving their pipeline to chance, and that raw, honest feedback directly from agents kind of explains why. They're like, I always spend too much time on admin work, right? So we've all been there drowning in paperwork instead of actually closing the deals and going on appointments. So contrast that high level multi-million dollar deal making with this reality on the ground. It's an execution gap, not a lack of awareness. They simply haven't systemized it. So if you have a solid pipeline system running consistently, you instantly have a massive edge over luxury agents who are pulling in hundreds of millions in volume, who are still setting their appointments manually. So in section three, we are going to be deconstructing the winning plays and how top producers actually win. So how do we close this gap? Let's look deed by deed at how Atlanta's elite actually secure their listings. So it's all going to come down to a fundamental shift in strategy. You see, these luxury wins are rarely accidental general MLS listings where an agent just sticks a sign in the yard and waits. Of course, that's not happening. The real wins at this tier are surgical. They are insider relationship driven plays that rely on pre market connections, institutional developer contracts, and highly specific niche networks. Let's deconstruct agent Ben Hirsch's builder play, for example. Look at the 3603 Knollwood Drive deal in Tuxedo Park. It closed for $13.8 million. Ben didn't just stumble into this listing. He had a standing, rock solid relationship with the builder, Siegel Construction. And because of that established trust, he secured the listing before the house was even finished. The results, it went under contract in just 10 days. And by the way, the data shows that he simultaneously had another $4.2 million deal under contract on that exact same street. He did not just win the listing, his relationship allowed him to completely dominate the street. And this brilliantly illustrates that there is absolutely more than one way to build a fortress around your pipeline. So let's unpack a few. Starting at the institutional play with McBride and Sheevy, they leveraged their developer services division for the Elise Buckhead penthouse. Notably, the developer here, Coulter Urban, is headquartered in South Florida. Hey, y'all, I'm onto something, right? Creating this really cool live thread across two major wealth hubs, which perfectly aligns with my markets. So then you've got Patty Webb's niche play in international relocation, where she uses her fluent languages to secure global clients. And then Patrick O'Malley's insider play, leveraging 30 plus years as a VP in the default servicing industry to secure an REO listing. These aren't random, they are highly specific, deeply cultivated competitive edges, or consider the network play. Okay, so the network play is perfectly exemplified by Kim Boyd of Atlanta Fine Home Sotheby's, who secured a massive 13.2-acre land listing on Northside Drive. The Boyd team literally has at least three generations of real estate depth. They've been the number one small team there since 2017. But let's connect the dots here. So I actually shared offices, like she was my office mate at Keller Williams Peachtree Road in Brookhaven in 2010, early in my real estate career. So that also proves the immense enduring value of deeply rooted personal networks. So, who you came up with in the business and who you share roots with directly dictates the rooms you get invited into later in your career. Now, in section 4, we're going to be looking at this private wealth shift, off market, and trust activity. Now, important as networks are today, they are about to become pretty much the only way to do business tomorrow. So, the crucial point is private brokerage activity. We are currently watching a wealth transfer unfold in real time to the tune of $38.3 trillion. That is a massive shift. And as this wealth moves quickly through private trusts, public listings are predicted to decline, quickly getting replaced by a massive surge in discrete private off market deals. And we already have the proof right here in the data. Let's look at the Valley Road estate in Tuxedo Park. This was a $7.3 million closing back in March of 2026. But here's the kicker. There were absolutely no agents identified on the listing. Even the Atlanta Business Chronicle couldn't find one. It was truly a fully principal to principal deal, most likely arranged through attorneys or a family office. The vital takeaway here is that not every top tier sale has an agent side door to walk through. If your edge doesn't include access to these private wealth networks, a massive segment of the market will simply never touch your brokerage, okay? So now let's look at your strategic real estate playbook, matching your edge to the market. So we've covered the macro data, the execution gaps, the surgical plays, and this massive off market wealth shift. Now let's move to see how this builds into a broader global picture. The Global Luxury 2026 Trend Report specifically names Atlanta as a resilient wealth haven with consistent price growth. It also calls out South Florida as a hyperactive ultra luxury market. I mean, we're talking about a $200 million listing hitting Indian Creek Island. What's incredible here is how perfectly both of my markets align with these global wealth magnets. The opportunities now in these specific corridors are historically large, which brings us to the ultimate questions you need to be asking yourself today. We've seen exactly how top producers win through these builder relationships, developer tracks, international niches, and deep rooted networks. So, who is actually in these circles in your pipeline or in your database that you can reach out to? And how does your specific competitive edge match up against these top tier benchmarks? Are you still waiting for the phone to ring, or are you executing surgical outbound plays? If you are a high performing agent looking to close that execution gap and really align your business with these massive wealth transfers happening in Atlanta and South Florida, you need a custom playbook. Stop leaving your pipeline to chance. So, set up a direct consultation with me to learn about how you can get licensed in the state of Florida. You can email me at tori@realestatetori.com. The wealth is moving behind closed doors. The only question is, do you have the key to get inside? Thanks for listening. Feel free to reach out.